Thank you so much for the introduction. I honestly could have listened for the next 45 minutes, listened to you play the piano. By far my favorite instrument, if you will. Folks, I am excited to be here. Thank you for having me. My name again is Todd Romer. I founded Young Money, as your teacher just mentioned, Ms. Clank, out of literally the basement of my home. When I hear someone speak, don't you want to know more about how they started? What's their story, right? What's special? What do they do different? Why are they on stage? Well, I do want to give you some initial great news. There isn't that much that's special about me. What I did maybe differently is I've failed a lot, and I've been able to go through valleys and then keep going up. It's all about taking action. And so it's no different with money. So a little bit of background too, first though, is I'm the youngest of 7. I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. Anybody know where Dayton is? Anybody follow college basketball? Anybody look out for my Flyers? Dayton Flyers coming up soon here, 2 weeks, possibly in the big dance. I have to put that plug in there because we don't get there very often. But at the age of 16, I walked downstairs on a Saturday morning. I'm at the kitchen table, and I look across the table, and I look at my dad, and he's got a magnifying glass, and he's looking at the newspaper, 1984. Never forget it. Can anybody tell me what he was doing with his magnifying glass? Because I said, Dad, what are you doing? Yes. Absolutely. I don't get that answer that quickly, believe it or not, right? The digital age that we live in, right? And so he was. I said, I'm looking at my stocks. I said, well, what is that? And he said, how much did you make cutting grass this past summer? And I said, I don't know, like $3,000. He said, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't know. I knew you were cutting grass, but he was a pediatrician. He helped, of course, kids get well, working about 6 out of 7 days a week. With 7 kids, it's a busy lifestyle, right, to keep up with everybody. I said, yeah, $3,000. He said, whoa, you need to start investing. I said, well, what is that? I purchased 10 shares of Johnson & Johnson stock, because he said, why don't you invest 10 shares of that stock? And I said, first of all, who are those guys? I honestly, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Dad. He goes, no. They make Tylenol brands, Johnson's baby shampoo. I said, oh, I get it. So I remember calling his good college friend, John Laufersweiler. So Mr. Laufersweiler, you never forget that name, right? I called him. He said, no, you're calling because you're 16. You're going to do this. I said, okay, fine. I remember calling my stockbroker for the first time, nervous. Mr. Laufersweiler, I'd like to buy 10 shares of Johnson & Johnson stock, please. He said, okay, that'll be $430 and change, because it was $43 per share, like 43 and an eighth, actually. You just never forget that first investment. Trust me. You won't. It's almost like a child. You just don't forget it that first time. And he charged $75 in commission for that stock purchase. Today, that same investment or trade, as they call it, would be about $7 to do that. But my story goes on. I said, okay, fine, I'm actually investing money. 3 months later, no joke, and I say this kind of kindly, but in a kind of way, I don't want to be too crass, but he said, or a gentleman, no, he's not a gentleman, he's an idiot. He walks into a pharmacy in Chicago, and he laces Tylenol caplets with cyanide. Does anybody remember that story? Yes. And literally, my stock the next day, Johnson & Johnson stock, went down from $43 to about $28 per share. And I'm like, Dad, get me out of this stock market thing. That's a lot of money. That's my lawn mowing money. He's like, starts to smile. I said, what are you smiling at? He goes, you should buy more. I said, I am not buying more shares of stock. No way. I went out. Of course, I didn't sell, thankfully. I didn't buy more, unfortunately, so I just held. And in that process, trying to get a little feedback, maybe stay back a little bit. In that process, when I was a senior at University of Dayton, where I went to school, I was able to look at my statement for the first time. My $430 investment turned into nearly $2,000. And I knew this many people, that's 4, on campus of 7,000 students that were investing. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not the smartest crayon in the box. I studied my butt off. By the way, anybody like this? You study your butt off maybe just to get that B? Sometimes. Maybe an occasional C. You just do the best you can, right? I get an occasional A here and there. But I work my butt off just to get that, okay grade. But I'm like, wait a minute. Why is only 4 people, I didn't interview all 7,000 of course, but I just did not know of anybody doing this. And I'm like, if I'm just this kind of average guy doing this, why are we not talking to young people about how money can accumulate through investing safely? So I set out to start Young Money Magazine, which I'll show you in a little bit here, little copies of examples of it. And it just kind of grew. And I've developed a tremendous interest to teach young people, whatever you want to call yourself, millennials, it doesn't even matter, a college student of any age, of any economic background, how to achieve real success with money. So before I begin, let me ask a real question. I'm going to be very transparent with you, and I would love your transparency back, right? So how many of you at that raise of hands think it's going to be difficult to be successful with money down the road? Okay, great. And those who raise your hand, any comment as to why? Why do you think it's going to be hard to be successful with money, financially successful? What are some examples that you think are causing that? Inflation, okay. What else?
We don't have the money to start.
You don't have the money to start, okay. And anything, that's good. Any other reason why you think it's going to be hard to be financially successful today?
You never know what's going to happen in the future, like emergencies.
Emergencies, and everyone's right. Any economy concerns? Yes.
They just don't know where to start, where to put your money.
Don't know where to start, where to put your money. Yeah. So would it be okay to say there's a general kind of fear of future, of what your future might be in here? Okay. Which, by the way, there's 2 major emotions in life, and everything kind of falls underneath each one. There's love and there's fear. And it's our choice to go, well, underneath fear is anxiety, worry, stress, unknown. Of course, you all know underneath love, joy, all that. So it becomes, as you'll see with this presentation, it begins with a choice to believe in what your future can be. So right now, it doesn't sound like anything around money management today, does it? Or financial education. I'll get to the how-tos and the behavioral change, but let's get into really some quick components of what we're doing with thinking differently about money. Because in the next 40 minutes or so now, I hope 99% of you, of course 100%, but I hope all of you realize, wait a minute, I have a new way to think about money that I've never really heard before. And you'll see some real components to help you think, hey, it's not necessarily about do I have the money. I'm going to acquire that some way or another. So here we go into the, again, but we're sponsored by Mountain America Credit Union. Encourage you to do the money machine afterward. It's a lot of fun, at least to try to get into the money machine. But here's some background, because this is important to know as to where we all started. We had Mark Cuban, Danica Patrick, we had a bunch of different celebrities and personalities on our cover. We had a lot of fun with that magazine, but after 2009, after publishing 7 million copies distributed on all these college campuses in 35 states, we did not know if we changed a single life with this magazine. So we did a test on 4 campuses. We went to Arizona State, Ohio State, UCLA, University of Florida, kind of 4 major colleges, just to get feedback on the magazine. Hey, we're distributing this magazine in the newspaper. What do you think? We were floored with the response we got. Hey, your magazine's great, but guess what else we found? Hey, can I talk to you a little bit here? Yeah. I'm actually got some money issues. I got some debt issues. I've got some credit card stuff going on. I got some student loan concerns. And oh, by the way, we heard this pretty much as well. I just made a few $1,000s last summer. And or I've got some money in a savings account, or I actually have some money in a box at home, and I know that's not where I should be putting my money. How do I even start investing safely, securely? We heard that a lot. And so with that, we started the Young Money Live campus event and speaking tour, held since 2010 on 250 plus schools now in 34 states. When it's nice out, we'll have our tent display. You know what's fun about this sometimes? We'll put this tent up, it says Young Money Live. We'll have some people go, oh my gosh, is that Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj and Drake coming on campus? And so we're like, nope. But they're like, oh no, I need to know this too. Long story short, I know more about that record label than you can imagine. We trademarked that name when Lil Wayne was probably 10. So we've had it a long time. In fact, we sold our domain name to them 5 years ago. So long story, Lil Wayne is actually a pretty smart guy. He has a money manager. So as you know, in the celebrity and professional sports world, right, what can happen to people who have a lot of money very quick? Absolutely. 50 Cent, MC Hammer, the story, and many, many others. So talk again about our book and planner we have as well. That's at the table, etc. But let's move on to the gist of the matter. Generally speaking, our education system as a whole does not teach us how to manage money and create wealth. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. It's not an indictment on anybody, any school system, any college, university. That's not the case. Actually, there's a lot of great things going on at schools today trying to really increase financial education, because they too know that, hey, we need financially literate students to keep this going. So there's a lot going on in a positive way. But 86% of college students like you would rather learn about money now, right, before making real-world college mistakes. Is anybody in that camp? Sure. And then finally, the reality too is 3 out of 4 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and have less than $1,000 in savings. These 76%, there's nothing wrong with these people. They're not bad people. There's no judgment whatsoever. The saying, you don't know what you don't know, is very real. And so we're here to help take this percentage and bring it down over time. How do we do that? Well, it begins with a question for yourself. It really boils down to, you want to be a financial survivor or a financial success? What does it look like? Can someone tell me, what does it look like for someone to be a financial survivor? What are they doing with money?
Spending it, getting by.
Spending it and getting by, okay. Paycheck to paycheck, that's fine. Yeah, anything else that, when you hear financial survivor, what else kind of activity or behavior is happening?
Making enough to live in.
Sorry?
Making enough to live in.
Okay, you're just making enough to live? I heard you right? Yeah. So that's kind of what it's a choice, but here's what's the good news. Everyone in here, for the most, literally everyone in here, we're all talking about a level playing field now. It does not matter, as you'll see in these next few steps, it does not matter how well or how poorly your parents manage money. It does not matter what you think is going on in the economy. You can throw that out as an excuse, right? Because you don't want me to sugarcoat anything, right? You want me to give you the real stuff. It does not matter. Here's one I think is really important. It does not matter how smart you are to be successful with money, short and long term. I have my hand up first to this question. How many of you sometimes go through life and go, I don't know if I'm smart enough to do that? It could be anything. My hand's up, big time. In fact, I'm getting through I'm not smart enough to learn the piano, believe it or not, and I'm doing an online course as we speak. It's amazing what happens with our mind. Absolutely nothing can get in the way with managing money when you learn these 5 true steps to getting ahead. So bottom line, it all depends on how much you keep and grow. How much you keep and grow is the only thing that is going to help you get to where you want to go financially. That is a major, major thing to learn right off the bat. How much you keep and how much you grow. That's the basis to creating wealth in this country. This plan, by the way, step 1, does anybody have a desire to start a business someday? Does anybody have a desire to play professional sports or anything like that? Well, you'd be amazed at the audiences I talk to. Here's what I say to all that. Go after those dreams of whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to start a company and sell it to a Silicon Valley company in Silicon Valley, go for it. Be a professional athlete, go for it. Professional dancer, whatever, a performer, play in New York City, Broadway, whatever it might be. Go for those dreams, and you'll see this in a second explained. But in the meantime, have this 5-step plan going on as your backup. Because I'm all about dreaming. And you'll see why here. Step 1 of the 5 steps to becoming successful with money begins here. Make a decision to dream. Being candid with me, being transparent, how many of you kind of have some dreams that are just kind of been pushed down over the last few years, whatever it might be? I know your market, if you will, your age group pretty well. Speaking to several thousands, if not tens of thousands of you, generally speaking, around the country. Whether you're 55 or 25 or 21, it doesn't matter. But generally speaking, there is a lack of dreaming going on in this country. And that we're settling more. And that's the last thing I want you to do. Settling is not living fully. But when you do this, it all boils down to here. Your personal why is your fuel to achieve financial success. Look at this. I haven't said anything about money yet. I haven't said anything about how to save it and invest it, and you'll hear that in a little bit. This is your big deal. Personal why. It might take you days. It might take you weeks. It might take you months to create your personal why that you ultimately want to be successful with money. If your why is I just want to be a millionaire, we all want to be a millionaire, right? I mean, come on. We hear that, I just want to be a millionaire. If your why is I want to be a millionaire, that is a very weak why. Good luck with that. I knew so many people in my early 20s, friends, acquaintances, like, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire. Great. Well, when life got a little tough, what do you think most of those potential millionaires were doing? They backtracked and retreated from their millionaire dream. That's not going to be strong enough. Can anybody in here just randomly say, hey, what are some reasons why you ultimately want to be financially successful?
Support your family.
Support your family. Yeah. Freedom. Financial freedom, absolutely. To do what you want. Anyone else? Yes. Helping people, based on what I'm hearing, right? As you go through this plan, and you'll see this in step 5, you have an opportunity with this plan to live an amazing, abundant, purposeful life that involves others. So step 5 is pretty fun. So you'll find your time. What is it ultimately that you want to accomplish with money, and you'll see how it all comes together. Because that will be your why and your fuel to do these other steps. Managing won't be so difficult. Setting and accomplishing small goals first builds financial confidence to set larger goals and dreams. What do I mean by that? Well, it's the last bullet point on this particular step, because we're moving into step 2 real quick. And this is why I only have 2 bullet points here. Because of this. We're human beings and we need confidence in everything and anything. Who played a sport growing up, or was on stage, or was on a field, whatever it might have been, right? When you practiced, for me it was in high school, it was free throws. I just had a penchant for shooting free throws pretty well. I would, shoot 50, 75, 100 free throws in practice. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can actually close my eyes. And I would do that sometimes. And I built confidence to shoot my free throws. In game time, I shot pretty well. So I had confidence building. It is no different with anything else, including money. But including a money goal, here's all you need to do. This is a specific thing to build confidence. By Friday, what's that, 2 days from now? By Monday, I'm going to open up a checking and a savings account if I don't have one. Whether that's with Mountain America or whoever, it doesn't matter. But it's true. You can't actually do this plan without a checking and a savings account. So when you go do that, which takes minutes, you're like, okay, I got a little bit of confidence. Your next small goal could be, I'm going to save automatically $50 a month from my checking to my savings account. I'm going to actually transfer this automatically. You'll see in step 2. Okay? That confidence starts to go up. And it's going to lead, as you see with these steps, it's going to lead to much bigger goals that you're going to set for yourself that become very real and very exciting over time. Any questions so far on step 2? Or step 1, rather? Can any of you not do step 1 so far? You're like, no, I think I can dream, right? Awesome. But here's one thing about dreaming, by the way. Do we not hear this in our our social circles or just out there in the media? Don't we hear this? Dream big, baby. Dream big, right? We hear that. Is there anything wrong with dreaming big? No, absolutely not. But when you dream so big that you don't have the roadmap of getting those steps to get to that big dream, it's really easy to have the pin go into that big balloon of confidence or big dream, and the air comes out. You've got to dream small and then dream big, because you need that confidence and the behavior and the action steps to keep you going toward that big dream. So, there we go. Step 2, save money automatically. What's the key word on this step? Wow. In unison almost. I don't get that that much. I get a lot of save, right? You do not need me to come from Cincinnati, Ohio to tell you to save money, right? You know that's smart. But here's what's going on. Generally speaking, a high percentage of Americans are doing this. We are saving money the wrong way by having one savings account. This is a recipe for ongoing money frustration. You're like, really? I didn't know you could save money wrong. You're like, either you save it or you don't, right? How many of you have gone through this mental exercise? I'm going to save X amount of dollars by June, or by the end of the year I'm going to save X amount of dollars, right? Okay? When you try and save money yourself by putting in chunks along the way, which is nothing wrong with that, but when you do that, how has that worked out for you for the most part? A lot of heads going, yeah. It just doesn't. You try your best, but stuff gets in the way. So I'm going to teach you a whole new way to think about money when it comes to saving and literally saving money differently. First, that savings account we're going to talk about in a moment, we're going to go to the checking account first, right? I told you you need one of those and you need a savings account, otherwise you can't do this plan. It's a whole shift. This whole plan, this Young Money Live, Young Money University stuff that we talk about all around the country with money, is about shifting how you think about money. Your checking account becomes your money engine. That's all you're looking at, your checking account. Because, be honest, when you got your first checking account, whether you're in high school or college, or maybe you don't have one yet, but when you got your first checking account, did you think you were pretty cool? Come on. You're like, yeah. Mature, you got your debit card sent in the mail, you had your name on it, you're like, I'm styling, right? Well, over time, that buzz went away, did it not? For most adults in here, our checking account represents what? Pain. Paying bills, right? Generally speaking. Right now, you're going to look at your checking account and say, wait, this is my key to creating financial health and wealth. Yeah, it is. Because you know that you can actually, whether it's Mountain America or any other financial institution, you can tell them, hey, will you please transfer $25 a month automatically into my savings account, please? You can choose the 15th, the 25th of each month, whatever it might be. You're going to be saving money automatically and getting yourself out of the way of yourself. Right? You know this. In a lot of ways, there's nothing new under the sun with money, but it's true. You're getting yourself out of the way of yourself with money in this plan when you do this automatic savings. It gets even better. Okay, your savings account is now your life happens account. Right? Does anybody have life happen to them in here? Parking ticket, speeding ticket, traffic ticket, anybody? Broken iPhone, Samsung Galaxy Glass, anything, no insurance? Who owns a car in here? Who's responsible for that car? Do they work perfectly? No. Who owns a home in here? Do they work perfectly? No. So life happens to all of us. But you're looking, again, this is a shift of thinking with money, right? Your savings account, you look at your life happens account because you will not create wealth in your savings account. It's not a credit union or a bank's fault that interest rates are at what in a savings account today? Yeah, point something. Yeah, whenever it begins with point something, yeah, not good. Yeah, 0.25. So you're not going to create wealth that way. what you're going to do is you're going to create multiple named savings accounts, or what I like to call digital envelopes. Look what you can do with this. You could have what we call an emergency fund. You can call one of your accounts a car expense fund. Let's say, ladies, you're putting, look at this one, clothes and shoes fund, ladies, $75 a month. She's like, yeah, I'm in. Think about that. You've got your account that really today is our bank, not this. Our bank is our phone, right, for the most part, with mobile banking. You can look and go, sweet, I've got $275 in my clothes, shoes fund, and when that great sale comes, you're able to go quickly transfer back to your checking, use your debit card, whatever you want, boom, or pay cash for it, etc. But when, look at this one, technology fund. Who's a gamer and who's like the next iPhone 11s that's coming out soon? Who wants that? It's not, but I'm just, you know I'm going, right? Home maintenance fund, travel fund. I get this everywhere. How many of you like to travel or want to travel more? Everywhere I go, that's been a high interest. You can have a travel fund. A savings account doesn't cost you anything. A lot of times they're called sub-accounts at financial institutions. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiple named accounts. When you start putting a name, here's the key, when you start putting a name to nearly every dollar of your income, it starts to change your whole thinking even more. You're able to now say no to a lot of things because you're like, wait a minute, this money is earmarked for such and such. And that is a major, major deal that we talk about. Who likes this concept of multiple named accounts? Absolutely. For example, my son, he's a junior, he's almost 21, he's at University of West Florida in Pensacola. His name is Jack, and he said to me several months ago, hey Dad, I've got my 4th account. I'm like, sweet. What's it called? He said, Hawaii. I said, okay, awesome. I guess we're going to Hawaii sometime soon. He said, yeah, next summer, so this will be this July. He said, next summer, the school's doing like a travel thing, and it's called Surf and Serve. He said for the first week, he serves in a local impoverished community in an island of, I don't actually know if it's a big island or not. And then the second week, he's going to learn how to surf. He knows he's got to put $75 a month away into that account monthly to get to the plane ticket and everything else. So using his example, it's no different from what you're thinking here. Do you think when Jack is tempted like you and me to spend money, whether it's his friends saying, hey, let's go do this, or something comes in front of you, whether it's an ad or whatever it might be, do you think Jack is going to take money out of his Hawaii account to go spend it somewhere else? No. He's going to think not just once, probably 3 times, probably 5 times before he goes, no, I think I'm good. Because he's got a name to his money. When you have one single savings account, it's going to be an ongoing frustration for you, and you're starting to know that already right now. I can see the faces and the head shaking. Because it's real easy, we've all done it, I'm there, I've been there, to take money out and go, yeah, I've got a pretty decent number in that savings account, right? It could be $300 for you, it could be $1,000 for you, it could be $2,000 in that savings account. And you think, I got a big number in there, don't you, sometimes? And then you go spend it on whatever, and you're like, you got to go do what? The whole cycle starts over. And you got to add it, put it back in, go earn the money, put it back in, and the cycle won't stop for weeks, months, or years for some of you. So is this a better way to save money? So think about it. I said, I didn't say save money automatically and put names to it. There's not a better time, and wait till you see step 4, to be dealing with money and accumulating wealth than I think right now, and you'll see that in step 4. Any questions so far in step 2? There's no questions, a dumb question at all. Absolutely can do this ASAP with most financial institutions. All right, step 3, just say no sometimes. What does this mean? Anybody? Yes. Needs versus wants, I heard. Yeah, pretty much nailed it. Just say no sometimes. I sat down with the CFO of FedEx Express several years ago. I told him, here's what I want to do. I want to start speaking on college campuses. And he's like, oh, because he loves financial education. He mentors young couples before they get married. Money's going to be an issue, so let's talk about money. And I said, hey, I'm coming up with this 5-step plan, and I need to talk about spending. What do you think? He goes, people just need to say no. I remember, he's much older than I, much wiser than I, and I remember taking notes over coffee, and I went, okay. I went home that night, and I went, okay, I like that, but I cannot tell you to stop going to Starbucks, or stop going to Chipotle, or stop going to whatever, or stop downloading iTunes, stop getting the new iPhone every time it comes out. I cannot tell you that. If I said stop spending money, if I was in your chairs, I'd be like, when is this guy leaving? Right? I would be like, okay, he's no fun. But you all have a place you want to go in life. If I was to just gloss over this, I am doing you no favors. But the reality is this, you only have to say no sometimes. Right? You know that. So it seems like every campus I go to, it's temptation city to spend money. I don't know about here, but some of these student centers or student unions have like $13 lunches. There's Panera Bread on campus. There's whatever. It's just real easy to spend money, right? So what I would just have you focus on for the next, say, 2 weeks, because ultimately what you're trying to do is you're looking to become aware of your monthly income and expenses. Oh boy, that word awareness is huge. Just get a receipt for 2 weeks on 2 categories primarily. Food and entertainment. Bless you. Just do that for 2 weeks. Just see where that money's going. You could either write in a little small little journal or keep it in your notes section of your phone. Just become aware of where your money's going. That's half the game with money, too. Would you be surprised, you think? Anybody going to be a little surprised about where their money's going? With those 2 categories? Yeah. From there, again, I'm not telling you to stop. Going to Chipotle, no, you can go there as long as you want. The bottom line is, as this gentleman said earlier, you're going to have to say no sometimes to things that you think you want, but ultimately just really don't need. And I had a woman, I'm guessing she was in her mid-20s, at Hillsborough Community College in Tampa, Florida. Recently, she said, she heard me speak, and I could see we had a great group just like this, and you could just see some of these people going, whoa, this is really kind of fun. She said, I have a question. I said, what? She says, how do I stop driving down the street? And my car's like a magnet to Chick-fil-A. Whenever I see Chick-fil-A, it just absolutely goes in. It could be 4 in the afternoon. It could be 2 it doesn't matter. It's the odd time of day. It's not necessarily noon. But my car just goes into Chick-fil-A and gets in line. And I said, yeah, that long line, that's like 15 cars, right? It's crazy. She says, how do I stop doing that? And so we were about halfway through the presentation, and I said this. I said, you're going to see something in step 4 that's going to help you, but it boils down to this. Your why is not big enough yet. It was that simple. Her why is not big enough yet, because I didn't tell her to stop going to Chick-fil-A. I said, you're going to have to stop sometimes because you're going someplace. Once her why is figured out, she's going someplace, and she has fuel to say no sometimes. So this plan, ultimately what we're doing here is we're reducing the emotion with your money. Bless you. You know it's emotional, right? Money and emotion, do they go hand in hand? How many of you in the last 6 months, 6 weeks, or 6 days have purchased something and you regretted that 24 hours later? Right? We've all been there. The emotion got set in. Somewhere there's emotion to your purchases. So we didn't say we're eliminating emotion. No, you're not robots. You're humans, so we all have emotion, and that's good. But ultimately with money, you're going to reduce your emotion with money with this plan. It's funny, I literally just read the USA Today at my hotel this morning, the money section. Warren Buffett gets quoted all the time. Does everybody know who he is? He has a few dollars, right? He says the same thing over and over, and I'm like, I want to just take a billboard with me and take what he says. He says, and we'll talk about investing in a second, he said, you shouldn't look at the stock market on the weekends because your work is technically your weekday's done. So don't look at the stock market and what your stocks are doing on the weekends. And he said, you need to get to the point where you don't even look at the stock market during the day, during the weekday. So, because he knows we're emotional people. Oh no, the market's going up. Oh great, I'm excited, right? Oh no, the market's down. Oh no. So, it's amazing what happens with emotion and money. All right, any questions on step 3? So far, can we do this? So, we got make a decision to dream, step 1. Save money, what? Step 2. Automatically. We're putting names to our money. We're creating multiple digital envelopes. You don't have to have 10 tomorrow. You can have 2 or 3. What are the common ones we see right off the bat? Emergency fund, car expense, and travel. Some of you are like, no, I'm doing clothes and shoes, right? Whatever it might be. Those are just a couple that right off the bat that a lot of people do with this plan. Step 4 is the power step. I cannot put this step first. It would not matter. Because this step is similar to the phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them what? So I'm ready to lead you to significant wealth here, but I can't make you have wealth. I'm serious. I can't say it any different what I'm about to do here. Because you know why I put it forth? Because the first step of dreaming is such the foundation. It's like a home. If you build your foundation on sand, good luck, right? Your rock is your dream and your why. You need to create that so that you have fuel inside. Those dreams that have been down here, that have been settling, are going to slowly come up. And you're going to live a whole different life with a new perspective on money and what really money can do for you. So get ready. Get into the game of investing automatically. What word's showing up again there? There's something consistent going on. Automatically. All right, I'm going to cruise 5 minutes. All right, the key, folks, is this. Automatic monthly investing creates wealth over time. Automatic monthly investing. You're going to get in sometimes 12 times a year. You can invest as little as $5, $10, $15 right now. Why? Because the game is changing for all investors of all ages through low-cost options and no minimum requirements to start. There's an app out called Acorns. Real quick, it's a micro-investing app that allows you to invest, attach your debit card and or credit card. When you use that app at, say, Starbucks, or use your debit card at Starbucks, it'll round your purchase up to the next dollar. So you spend $4.50 on a coffee, it's going to be $5. That 50 cents goes into one of 5 investment portfolios made up of stocks and bonds. Investing is not difficult today. It gets all twisted. We twisted it. There's nothing wrong with financial advisors. Awesome, great. Credit unions and banks can help you get started in mutual funds and ETFs. But at the end of the day, it's about you want to get on the compound interest train. And let's talk about that. What is your first name here, please? Monet, nice to meet you. Monet, let's just how old are you, by the way? Is it okay? Or you don't have to share?
What?
How old are you?
39.
Okay, let's just use an example. Monet, you decided, going back in a little bit of time, that you said, well, I'm going to start investing at 26. For some of you who are in this realm here, this age, you invested $150 a month or $1,800 a year, and you did this, Monet, all the way till you were 65. Your total investment was $72,000. About an average annual rate of return in the stock markets, S&P 500, is just under 12%. I'm actually using Dave Ramsey's figures here. Okay, $72,000, Monet, compounded by just investing monthly. You could care less what the market's done. Gives you a return of nearly $1.7 million and change. Would you be okay with that? Yeah, I think you would. So let's look at this, another saver bee. What is your name, sir, up here?
Bryce.
Bryce, nice to meet you. How old are you?
24.
Okay, 24. Let's just take you back 6 years. You started at age 18. You stop at 25. You only invested $14,000 and change. You did nothing from here to 65 years of age. You've got $2.2 million in change, $500,000 more than Monet, and you invested 5 times less. It's literally because you simply need to start. No matter what age you are in here, you need to start. But wait a minute, the stock market's scary. No, it's not. It's only scary when you're scared. Just invest every month, because over 120 years of data has suggested and given true meaning of about 11 to 12% per year. It's the people who leave when they get scared, or invest in chunks, or invest in a single stock, or trade and do what I did, which is losing 50% of my net worth when I was 27 years old, because I went from doing this plan, which I didn't even know I was doing, to investing into technology internet stocks when it came out in 1998. Companies that were not Amazon. Folks, it was a very, very ugly part of my story. But I've created this plan because I believe wholeheartedly, after talking and reading so many financial gurus' kind of beliefs, what they think, and then my own personal experience, I absolutely believe this plan is the way to start getting ahead with money. Because of time, my final step here is called Pay Yourself Second. Does anybody see that as a typo, possibly? Yeah. We've heard of Pay Yourself First, right? Some of you have. Pay Yourself First is a wonderful financial philosophy. It simply means when you get paid something, say you make a $500 salary every 2 weeks, you get paid $500 or $1,000, whatever your number is. It means to save something first and then pay your bills. Pay yourself first. Well, I have a new twist on this. Who is Pay Yourself First really all about? It's all about me, right? I told you a little bit quickly about the rest of my story. I got off to a tremendous head start with money, investing into Johnson & Johnson stock, Coca-Cola, other stocks, mutual funds. At age 25, I put a 25% down payment on a home that I built in Cincinnati from primarily my investments. I bought an Acura for cash, fully furnished home, and in my mind at 25, I was styling in my mind. When I told you about quickly that my internet stock purchases went down south and I lost 50% of my net worth in 12 months, it was the greatest blessing in disguise. Why? Because ultimately this is what was happening. Money became number one in my life. This step is about giving. You don't have to give. Of course, you don't have to do this step. You don't have to do any of these steps. But what I realized very quickly is that when I included giving as part of my financial plan, boy, life started to get pretty fun. In my final piece of the story, it talks about if you're not giving, you're not living. If you've got 60 seconds, here it goes. I was dating my girlfriend. She's now my wife at the time. 4th date. And she said, hey, what are some of your dreams? I'm 23 years old, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's kind of, no one's asked me that before. I deflected and I said, what are your dreams? And she said, well, I'd like to go to Tahiti someday and stay in that hotel on the water. You know what I'm talking about? You seen that on commercials? Who wants to do that, by the way? We all do. I'm like, oh, this is cool dreams. Okay. So she shared that dream, and then I finally shared a dream, which was, by the way, one of my dreams was I want to learn how to play the piano. She didn't laugh and all that stuff, and I was vulnerable with her, and she was vulnerable with me. And over dessert, she shared this final dream. She said, I would love to adopt a little girl from China. And I'm like, hey, we were having a really fun date. This is kind of like a heavy dream. I'm like, I didn't say that to her, but inside I'm like, what? Outwardly, I'm like, oh, that's great. Okay, cool. I took her home that night to her apartment. I went back to my apartment. I sat on the edge of my bed for the first time. I thought about marrying her. But then I said, are we going to have to do this? For 10 years, she would bring up one time a year adopting a little girl from China in a very non-badgering way. It went in this ear and out this ear. I never said yes. I never said no. I just hoped it would go away. And gentlemen, you probably know some of this. Women do not forget. So in this process of losing all this money that I went through, we were able to do something that was pretty exciting. We brought Mia into our life. We have 3 boys now. They're older. We just didn't know how to make girls. But Mia's entered our life. I say this, I bring her into the presentation, not to say as part of your giving you have to adopt. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But when you give, you have no idea what your life can be like. This plan can open up a purposeful, meaningful life for you, because when you reduce money stress, that stress and thoughts that really all come back to us, right? We're so stressed that we're just thinking about ourselves. And it's not a bad thing. We've all been there. We're going to continue to go through that. But as you implement this plan slowly but surely, you're going to be able to see how money works for you in that last step here, right? This particular slide is real. You can start again with as little as 50 cents investing. It's amazing what's going on in the investment world. These are companies that I just recommend you look at. Again, you can help folks even at a credit union, Mountain America, or any bank can help you get to these too. But you can go directly to things like Acorns, Betterment, Vanguard, Fidelity, and you can begin investing with very little amounts of dollars. And you want to get on that compound interest train. So again, thank you for your time today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon.